Good morning, Predicted Trades family. Hope everybody's doing well. As always, we'll start with a little review. To say, Friday and Monday we had this run up to our key level at 40.56, and every day that we have fallen back or gapped down, they buy it right back up. Yesterday we had a big gap down right back to our daily moving averages. Excuse me. And we talked about with the gap down, if we lose that 38.85, we will likely go down to hit our daily moving averages. We got that. And that's where they turned it around, loaded up long. That's where we loaded long on those 396, 398. I think even the 400 calls at one point on SPY yesterday for big returns. Those 396 went over 10x. The 398, not quite. I think it was 5x. Yeah. And either way, we fought right back up to our breakout range. If we take a look, last week's highs were around 40.35. So 40.35 and above is kind of the breakout range. We got a little bit above on Monday, hit our next key level and came back. And yesterday we fought right back up to that 40.35, ready to break out. We can see overnight we continued that journey and pretty much stayed above that 40.35, making it up again to this 40.56. We have a new high of week, and we just had some economic data drop at 8:30. So let's take a quick look at our economic calendar, like we do every day. Luckily, we didn't have anything on the calendar yesterday, so it was clear skies to keep on trucking. Today, we have initial jobless claims like we do every Thursday. The big one was GDP and some trades and capital data and some Chicago Fed national activity. So a bunch of stuff came out at 8:30. We have one more thing with new home sales at 10 a.m. after the bell to keep an eye on, and then the rest of the day is pretty clear. Then tomorrow, the big one is PCE at 8:30, and then at 10 a.m. that University of Michigan inflation data and consumer sentiment. So plenty coming out tomorrow, and we just had our reaction. As we can see, a quick slip down and right back up. And we might just set new highs while I'm talking. So overall, this data that just came out, GDP, not dumping us, not set to dump us, it doesn't look like. And, that's kind of a big key point lately. We've had a couple of big earnings this week. We've had economic data recently. And none of these things have really dumped us. As we saw a lot in 2022, every economic data drop caused the next big dump on in price action. Sorry, I'm just taking a quick look at the data that did drop. Yeah, GDP looks like it was good. Jobless claims came down. Yep. So all the data is looking good and in line. But overall, the big point is going through earnings and these economic data releases lately has not been sending the market into turmoil, back down, breaking any, significant levels or uptrends that we have been holding since the last lows. If we take a quick look at the daily, our last lows were set back in October. We had a good drive. We had a fall back. and we held this key zone of 37.50 to 37.92, basically around 3,800. There we go. And we have arrived back at our trend lines from highs. That's what this white line represents. Let me get rid of that one. There we go. Excuse me. So we've started to break through the trend line from the highs of last year. We hadn't done that at all in any rally last year. We would get to those trend lines and reject. And even this little pop in December that got through closed on a daily right back below, and we rejected again. And now we are getting multiple days closing over this trend line. Closed over it, stayed above it after pulling back. Yesterday we gapped under it, held moving averages right back above, and now we're trying to push for more. So overall, nice bull flag. Things are looking different. We're not really getting any data or earnings or anything that are sending us in a direction back down. So we still have some earnings to deal with. We got through Tesla last night. Let me pull up my earnings. Where are you? There we go. Come on. So this is just what we have before the bell today. American Airlines, MasterCard. I think maybe Visa's after the bell. But plenty going on this morning before the bell. That ADM threw me for a second. Let's get the full weekly. Is this the big calendar? Yeah. No, I want the actual weekly. Here we go. There we go. So we've got MasterCard before the bell. Gonna see what that reaction is. After we have Intel, Visa, and some others, and then tomorrow American Express and Chevron. I saw a news blip. Let's see if I still have it handy. Yeah, Chevron announces a $75 billion stock buyback dividend increase. That came through the wire. So something to, if that's your bale of hay. But, we also have some healthcare and whatnot tomorrow. Plenty in the earnings cycle going on. And just looking forward. Come on, there we go. Next week, it doesn't slow down, picks up even more. We have AMD, a big one, and we have Apple, Google, and Amazon is on Thursday, but I'm not sure why they're not showing it as well. So plenty still on the calendar for the rest of this month, coming up next week. We also have FOMC next week, I believe, right on the 1st. In fact, I don't have to guess. We can look and see. Come on. Yeah, there we go. FOMC next Wednesday. So plenty going on next week. So overall, let's just dig into where can we go today. should this strong uptrend continue and we start to push through, the 4056 key level, previous high of week, pre-market high, which is now new high of week. If we just keep going, next key levels to keep an eye on, 4071.5, 4087. Then we are pushing up to the 2-day squeeze top, and I got a couple of key levels at 4101, 4108, obvious psych level of just 4100. Those are the upside targets. The big one past that is 4136.5. If you remember from previous preps this week, I talked about that 4056 used to be a low of year last year. Well, before 4056 was low of year, early in the year, last year, 4136.5 held us up a ton. It was a huge key level even before all-time highs. But then when we started falling back, we held it a bunch. So the big key upside target, 4136.5, if we get above 4056 and start this drive to 4100. But we have key levels in the way to keep an eye on. Now, if we do have a little pullback at open, since we are having a gap up, we might run into some levels, run into this 4-hour squeeze top. An ES, that is just getting started. We could run into some of these things early and then start to slip back. We are contending with this price action. If you look left, back in November, we were topping out here twice, topped out, got above for a little bit and set this high right around 4100. Basically, we are fighting through some resistance. But the key levels I just gave you, that 4100, 4087, pretty much aligning with most of those highs. So if we do run into something and start to fall back, would like to see this daily Keltner at 4035, that same point that was last week's high, and anything above it is breakout. So on any pullbacks, I want to see us hold that 4035. We also have the bottom of the 30-minute squeeze that is firing. We're starting to fire. Okay, no, it's still intact. So overall, 4030, 4035, looking for that to hold us up today. Back below that, we can be looking at profit taking and falling back to that 4020, 4017, and POC, which established at 4015. Any below that, we're basically just coming back to tag these key things, 3996, 4000. But we should see this, uptrend try to continue today, or at least hold into PCE tomorrow. Moving on, let's go to NQ. So in Q, finally getting up and knocking on the door of 12,000 again. I don't really count this knock because this was that Microsoft reaction, and then it dropped right back. And it was after hours, so lower volume. But coming up on this 12,000, very key. Coming up on the daily 200 at 12,050. And then there is a very key level at 12,100. Again, one of the lows that held us up early last year. Next big key level past that, 11,250. And we are also still getting near the top of that 2-day squeeze, but it's very thin and ready to fire to the upside. If we slip back off of this daily 200 tap, would overall like us to hold 11,900. It's what we fought up to yesterday. It's what we were holding. So that's kind of your breakout level as well. So I want to see us hold 11,900 on any dips or potential slips backs for profit taking and gap filling and reloading. Below that 11,900, we want to target back to 800 and the daily 8 at 775-ish. Ready. Living life back above 1900. So, ready, if we can, well, on any pullbacks, we'd like to see us hold 1900. That is the big key level and breakout point. Below 1900, you want to target back to 1990, 1985, where the daily 8 sits. But if we can hold 1900 and keep on trucking, looking to get up to 1920, 1925 at the top of this 2-day squeeze, and then try to continue that journey to 1941. Big key level. So why I'm lagging a little bit compared to the others, we can see we're still trying to fight back to where we were, but, YM was a strong leader in December. So it's okay for it to take a break. But the next big key level, pulling up on this 34,000, kind of the bottom of this balance range over here before selling off. So would like to see us break above, well, I guess, let me zoom in a little, sorry. On any pullbacks, want to see us hold these daily moving averages and kind of the, at the worst, the daily 21, which is at 33.6, call it 33,700. And the daily 50, 33,725-ish. The daily 8, daily 15, around that 760. So, at the, if we have a pullback, we'd really like to see us hold 800, but if it's weak, it could get down to 700 before we need to start worrying. Below 700, target back to 500, but if we can hold these moving averages and continue higher, looking to get up to the top of this 4-hour squeeze, get to 34,000, get back above it, and use it for support to start moving up to the next Keltner at 34,165. And up to that 2-day squeeze top at 34,500, which gets us to the top of that balance range. So anytime we approach a balance range like this, if we can get through, hold the bottom, and start to push for new highs, then we want to try to target the top of the balance range. Moving on, Apple. And in all of these thesis and premises and whatnot, we need to keep in mind we have PCE tomorrow and the University of Michigan data. We could see a little sideways action today, or a slow grind maybe down to some of these targets and then back up. Allowing them to take profit, take new position, and get ready for a maybe stronger move on Friday. as we've been seeing lately, just look back at recent Thursdays. They can be maybe a little slower. Here's a great example right here, where we were looking nice and strong, fell back a little, slow grind to midday, start to get going again. We could end up with a day like this today, but all signs are looking good to try to break out. Apple to the up at the highs of this week, set a new one. Next big key zone, 144.5, 145, and then up to 147.5, 148.5, where the daily 200 sits. On any pullbacks, want to see us hold that 142. It has been a big key level. Below 142, we're talking back to 140. Maybe the daily 50 again. Or at the very least 141. But overall, I want to see 142 hold and try to push up to the next zone on Apple. AMD reports next week. So this is the last week of premiums not as inflated. Come on, load the price. There we go. Key levels. Yesterday, AMD held that 72.5-ish, 72, daily 8. Took right back off to the key level 75.25. I'd be looking for that to hold, or at least back to filling the gap right below 75. Yeah, 75, 75.25. Would like to see that hold as support to just continue higher with the goal of getting to 77 and 78.3. And beyond that, I have plenty of key levels, but the daily 200 sits at pretty much like 80 on AMD. If we lose that 75, target back to 74, 73, yada yada. Amazon. Amazon monster move yesterday. We had kind of reacted with Microsoft, fell back hard with the market, but right to daily moving averages, where it held and took off. In these instances, we can let it drop down, let it try to hold, and once it starts breaking back through, great spot, whether it's equity or options, to go long. And from there, 92.8 up to 97. So almost 5 points on just a let it get through and then break back above these daily daily MAs. Overall, would like to see it hold that 97, 96.5-ish on any pullbacks, but looking very strong. And looking for it to try to get up to 99, 100, 101-ish. Next big key level, 101.78. Should it start to lose that 96.5, want to at least see it hold 95.5. Google. On Google. Not as strong yesterday, kind of slow slip back. You know, there's some thesis for maybe a catch up since they weren't rotating as strong into Google yesterday. That might catch up, but overall, if we're going to push, we'd rather focus on the stronger names. Let's see if it can hold. Closed at 95.25. Yeah, let's see if it can hold 95, 95.25, and any pullbacks that look pre-market wick. And if we can continue the upside. You know, 97-ish is about the lows from Tuesday and pre-market highs yesterday. So going to be some resistance there, but overall looking to get up to this 98.78 and up to 100, 101. Need to get back up to highs on the week for Google to play along. If it starts to get about that 95 target, yesterday's lows near 94, and so on. Let's move on. Meta. So Meta, XLC like Google, didn't do much yesterday and starting to stack up on these squeezes. You know, you'd want to be targeting upside 144, 145, and then a push to try to get to 150. The daily 200 way up at 153. And close near 151 or 141.5. Yeah, this one, if the market starts to slip back, you want to target back to squeeze bottoms and yesterday's lows. If market's pushing 144, 145, not loving all the stack squeezes and whatnot. Come on, load these charts. There we go. So Microsoft, key levels, right? They're very important. That's why I cover them with you guys every morning. That earnings reaction straight up to the key level and the daily 200 that's close to that key level. Right back down to the zone at that 230, 232.8. Held that yesterday and right back up to 241. On any dips, want to see us try to hold 240 at the bottom of this 30-minute squeeze. And to the upside, looking to get above 242 where this daily 50 sits. Start to break out of this 30-minute squeeze. Get to Monday's high around 245. And then try to push up to this 248, 250 at the top of the 4-hour squeeze. But if we start to lose 240, we'd want to target back to 238 where the daily 21 sits. And any below that, it's like 235 where the daily 15 sits. Netflix. So Netflix been very strong since earnings on a steady uptrend. You know, she's basically made a good push after earnings, consolidated, made a big push, and it's a slow grind every day. Yesterday did nothing till late in the day and then took off with the market. So could very easily be drifting higher like this where she doesn't do much, then starts to take off, or it's a slow grind up all day. Overall, the upside targets that I have are around that 378, 380, and then around 394, 395-ish, if she's going to continue higher. If we're going to see any kind of sizable pullback, we want to be watching this trend line and this key level of that 39.61. If we start to see Netflix giving those out, then we could see a stronger pullback to maybe the daily 8 down at 345-ish. Only mentioning that because we are near the third Keltner after a strong earnings reaction. But whenever she does well on earnings, she tends to drift for a while. So keep an eye on her, and that trend line could just keep on trucking. NVIDIA. NVIDIA doesn't report earnings till later in February. I think it was the 22nd, if I remember. Yeah. Setting new highs. Premarket. Again, it looks very much like SPY in the market yesterday. Dipped down, held, squeezed bottoms, daily Keltner. Push right back up near. Breaking out, now starting to push a little further. It's all about, can we get to 200? And above that, big key level of 210. Sorry, excuse me for a second. All right. So, mission right now on the video, can we get to 200, 210? You know, it's basically moving with the market, but also other chips have reported earnings. They've gone well. And every time that happens, they start rotating into NVIDIA since it's kind of the last to report. If we, if we get any pullbacks, want to see us hold up. We closed around 193, gapping up a ton. So, going back to fill the gap is like 193. The highs of this week were around 195. So, I'd like to see us hold on any pullbacks 195. Below that, 193 to bounce back up and continue. Below 193, it's probably back to like 190. QQQ. On QQQ. On any pullbacks, want to see us hold 290. What's kind of the breakout point? We have the daily 200 at 293 and a psych level 295-ish. Third Keltner's at 296-ish. And, it's all, if we can't keep going, can we get up to 300 as the big key level? If we start to lose 290 on any pullbacks, then we might be talking going back to fill the gap, closed around 287. And we have our pre-market wick as well at that 288. So let's see if we can hold up and just gap and go, staying above 290. Or if we start to lose it, 288-ish. 289, 288 is, yeah. We'd want to target back to there. Below that, back to this zone that we were holding above on Monday and Tuesday. SPX. So on SPX, we did pretty much get that full gap fill yesterday. Yes, we did. And held around there. We're going to be gapping up. Yes. 26 points. So going to be near this high or slightly above it. On pullbacks, want to see us hold 40.25, 40.30 to try to continue higher with the goal of getting up to 40.50, 40.64, 40.80 at the top of the squeeze, and 4100. If we start to lose that 40.25, we might get back to completely filling the gap. 40.16 and around that 40.10. SPY. Ooh, new high just got set. On SPY. See, we closed around 400. We're gapping up to 403. On any pullbacks, let's see. 401 to 402 is basically what I'd like to see us hold. And I know that's a little wide, but we did a good job holding 401 pre-market. We were topping out at 402. So we'd love to see us hold 402. Below that, we might be going back to 401 or to a gap fill. If we can hold above 402, looking to try to continue to 404 at the top of this 4-hour squeeze. 405 psych level and next daily Keltner. And then that 2-day squeeze up near 408. Next big key levels up there as well. I know you might be thinking, why is there a big empty space between 402.75 to 408? I don't mark every level, and I know this one was kind of busy back here near 400, but that's where we have spent a ton of time. Usually in the journey between these levels, we are making quicker moves, so there's not as many levels that I keep an eye on, just the psych levels and Keltners. So let's see if we can get through that 404, that 4-hour squeeze top, or if it's going to hold us back, send us back down where they get pops and we have sideways action. Tesla. Oh, what a gap up. Come on, load my Tesla. So, I had earnings yesterday. Had a positive reaction from that 145 up to 160 almost. We have the daily 50 at 152. So, on pullbacks, mainly looking for that 152 to hold. With such a strong gap up, I mean, you could pick a lot of things like 155. Would like to see that hold, yada yada. Overall, 152, and we'll call it 152 and a half. We want to see that hold at the daily 50 on any kind of pullbacks and profit taking from this big gap up. If she can just continue, next big key level is 166, 167.5. In the sell-off that she was having with the whole Twitter and whatnot debacle and Elon selling and whatnot. Once she got below 200, this 166, 167 held Tesla up for a good amount of time before it finally gave out. So that's the big upside target if she's going to continue after this good earnings report. VIX. Down near 119. And really trying to defend that 19. Slipped it for a second on Tuesday. Gapped up to moving averages in 4 hours, 2 hour squeeze top, and came back down. So at these 2 hour, 4 hour squeeze bottoms, at this 1870-ish. So overall on VIX, we've kind of got yesterday's low and the pre-market high. We have a range set. Even though we are pushing new highs on the market, we're really pushing new lows on VIX. So it lends to the idea that there's some volatility. We might get a little bit of the market pulling back. There's going to be some rotation going on with us getting up to breaking out and after this Tesla reaction. So use this range, 19.3 at the high, 19 at the low. If we're going to see upside today, we'd like to see us stay below 19.3. If we do go for a little bit of a pullback and partial gap fill, really want to see us stay below 19.5 where the daily 8 sits. As long as we can reject at one of those 2 points, want to see VIX get down below 19, down to this 18.7 at the 4 hour squeeze bottom, and then maybe even push below that, firing the 4 hour squeeze down into the daily and 2-day squeeze with the effort of getting down to 18 recent lows. That's for upside in the market today. If we are going to get that pullback, partial gap fill, and maybe even more, we'll likely see VIX get up to that 19.5, like I said, and then if we go for more, then some gap fills, maybe even full gap fill in the market, we'd see VIX get above that 19.5 and try to make it up to 20. Basically one last pop to come up near these highs and reject again. So that's it for prep today. Hopefully this is helpful for everyone. Sorry I ran just a hair over, but thanks for tuning in. It is a free Thursday, so feel free to come in and join our Discord server. You can test out our tools on your options charts, and you can listen in to our traders all day long on the mic. Thanks for tuning in. Good luck today, everybody, and we'll see you in the chat.